an agent, etc. Coaches on the 2025 coaches hot seat. This from our good friend Ari Wasserman at on3.com. Hugh Freeze, we discussed some stories with them at the start of the show. I was surprised to see Billy Napier at the top. I know that he was a year ago at this time. I thought he pretty much answered the bell thanks to DJ Lagway, but that could turn south quickly. We'll see. But Napier, Venables, Hugh Freeze, Auburn is a no nonsense. If they don't like you, you're done. They have all the money, it seems like, in the world too. And then down the list, Pittman, Brennan, two coaches in the Big 12 with Brent, Brennan, Arizona, and Cincinnati, Scott Satterfield.
Yeah, all four of the top guys in the SEC, and partially because those are really huge. Arkansas is a big job. I'm not trying to knock Arkansas, but Florida, Oklahoma, and Auburn opening up would just supersede any other jobs that are opening up if those guys really do get fired. I think Venables will be fine because I think he fixed his quarterback problem. If DJ Lagway is out for any kind of a stretch, then the Gators are in trouble, and they may just say, look, you had Lagway, but if you don't have Lagway, you're not very good, and you can't hang all your hopes on one thing, and this has been too much of a roller coaster. And look, since Urban Meyer's left, he is in the expiration date for most of the rest of them. If it's Will Muschamp, if it's Jim McElwain, whoever it is, 4 years, Dan Mullen, 5 years, it's about the expiration date for a Florida coach who hasn't, won an SEC title yet. So he better get busy because they're not going to want to sit and wait around much longer there in Gainesville. Hugh Freeze just has to show something on offense this year, and I think he'll be all right. Sam Pittman, though, to me, a very interesting one. If rounding out the SEC before we get some of the other ones.
The first thing I thought was, why are there not a couple of names on this list? And I went to see Ari, went and looked at his account, and I guess there were a couple people that asked this question as well. And there are 3 names that apparently were not put on this list that most people would have assumed could be on this list. And the reason he cited was because of their buyouts. So I guess he's trying to be realistic with this list. And I can appreciate that, because the easy thing to do would be to put Lincoln Riley at number 1 and just have the fanfare and the discourse that would come with that. But contractually, maybe that's not actually all that realistic. So that's why he is not on there, although you would certainly think the pressure is ratcheting up in Los Angeles. The other name, or one of the other names mentioned as to not on here for contractual reasons, Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, who, man, had that great playoff run with Cincinnati, and I feel like I haven't heard anything about him ever since. And I'm a little hyperbole there, but they're kind of just there, so to speak. Wisconsin. Oh yeah. So I guess contractually he's still okay. And then the third one that he mentioned was not mentioned because of contract was Mike Norvell at Paul's Florida State University. So we know he's feeling some heat, although 2 years ago you were right there on the verge of one of the greatest seasons ever. So I really don't think he's on much of a hot seat. And so I wouldn't have included him to begin with. Lincoln Riley, I don't know how folks feel out there, because I don't know how many of them actually care, honestly. And Fickell, I think Wisconsin fans care, but I guess just money-wise, there's not much you can do about it.
Norvell would have to repeat 2 and 10 to make them go, let's get this money together.
I don't think he should be on the list, but people asking about him, he didn't mention him because of contract at least.
But now, if he repeats last year, then
when did he have his contract redone?
After he almost got the Alabama job, it was down to him and Kalen DeBoer, so
and then he went 2 and 10.
He went 2 and 10. So, it's part of me was like, they should have let him go. But then, look, things happen. I think it's different. It was such a unique situation, but they're not on the list for a reason.
I think Florida State making a choice over the last 2 years would have been stupid to do. I think there's just too much uncertainty to go from an injury preventing you from getting into the playoff when you deserve to be in the playoff versus then the emotional fallout and hangover from all of that, plus just not being as good of a team by a country mile So you can't say like it's this or it's that. It's too extreme. You have to give him more time and see what it really is because, I mean, I think any decision in the last year would have been so knee-jerk and ridiculous.
Well, and one of the things that he did that, kind of highlights the way that roster building is done through the portal now is he thought, okay, we went out and got these short-term 2-year, 1-year rentals like Keon Coleman and Trey Benson and, Jaheim Bell and all that. What if we had those guys for 3 years guaranteed? And so he went out and got guys like Jaylen Brown and all that were high recruits, 4- and 5-star guys at one point, but hadn't played all that much and early on in their careers. And turns out there was a reason that they hadn't, and it didn't work out. And then he, it just kind of all collapsed on him at once. So to say like he messed up 1 year when he perfectly played the transfer portal before. So he's done it 2 ways. It's like blackjack. He just hit too many times.
No, it was a nightmare. What happened, and he has earned at least this year. But if they, like you said, 3-9, 2-10, you probably will be writing a check from you too.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of on the guys that aren't on this list. I don't think there's any surprises on this list. I don't think this isn't something that hasn't been discussed ad nauseum for college football fans and their friends or message board folks throughout the last few months, because it's always one of the hotter topics and how we kind of take on conversations in the off season. The hot seat inevitably comes up a few times. So I don't see anything new here, just looking it up and down, other than just like we're getting primed now to really see like, are these guys going to be coaching their final seasons or not? But, Napier, I mean, this has been an ongoing discussion for a while now. I think the general sentiment that I walk away from is that a lot of Florida fans feel like they're going to be pretty good this year. Mm-hmm. Now, the Lagway thing throws that into a little bit of, if he's really not healthy. But I think people feel good about him being able to save his job with the record that they'll end up with by the end of the year. I think Venables has had a lot of bad luck, and I'm not super high on him at this point, but I do think he needs more time. And last year, you just couldn't account for the receiver injuries and just how all that, the transition into the SEC. I just think that was a lot to have to deal with, but he's been allowed to make pretty much every change one can make to a program. So it better pay off, or there's not really anywhere to look after that. And then I think like Brennan, that's pretty obvious. Satterfield, he was confident in Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah, he was.
So I'm rolling with his confidence and think he'll be okay. But that's pretty much who I thought I'd see on here.